What is happening, YouTube and weight loss warriors? It's your boy C-Dub, and I'm back with another video. And today I want to talk about what I would do differently in my weight loss journey if it started today. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that I lost 125 pounds eating one meal a day. 125 pounds. So I had success doing my diet. And so, I could tell you that I wouldn't change anything because I've learned from things along the way. And each one of those things has gotten me to the successful point that I'm at right now. But, if I could go back and talk to myself again, I would do some things to make it easier. And this channel is all about hooking you up with the tips, the tricks, the knowledge, and the ideas that I've learned along the way in my journey, right? To help you on yours. Well, this is the best way to do it, is to talk about my mistakes and shortcomings. So the first and foremost one that I want to talk about is the fact that I really felt this pressure to get everything right when I first started. I watched so much content on YouTube. I read so many articles. I did so much research. I knew more about intermittent fasting than anyone, could ever want to know. For all of these reasons, it just got into my head and I'd start thinking, well, don't mess up here, don't do this. I started to really buy into the fact that I had to do keto and that the diet was just this huge important thing, and that I was going to have to reteach myself how to eat. And I had all of that going on so deep. And to a degree, when I can remember after my knee surgery, when I was laid up and I was already months into it, I was thinking about telling my wife, which was preparing the meals for me, to only prepare a keto meal and force me to eat it, because I couldn't walk downstairs to the kitchen with the knee surgery to do anything about it. And I would either not eat or eat the keto. And I figured, well, I had to be 8 weeks. They broke my leg in the surgery, so 8 weeks I would have been out. And I figured in that 2-month period of time where I had to sit upstairs, that I would be forced to reteach my taste buds to like keto. And so I just put this unlimited amount of pressure on my body, and it just wasn't worth it. At the end of the day, I ended up finding my groove, being able to eat kind of whatever I wanted and still have success. And, that doesn't necessarily mean it was the right thing or the right thing for you to do, but it really worked well for me. And I think that if I would have just relaxed a little bit and not worried about, oh no, I can't have a diet soda. I mean, it was 8 months into my journey before I started drinking a diet soda once in a while, or a 0-calorie soda. And I don't think those things would have affected it in any which way. And I just really was consumed with the details more than the actions of just taking a break from eating. And it's really that simple. And so we watch all these channels and we consume all this information, but at the end of the day, it comes down to just eat less often and things are going to work itself out. And I think that that's a message that I wish I could have told my old self. Another thing I really wish I would have done was moved more early on. Now, I know I had the knee surgery and I was laid out for a long period of time, but I literally didn't start exercising until 9 or 10 months into my journey. And a lot of times I say that to people because I know that exercising was a turnoff to me. When I heard the word exercise, I immediately said that's just something I don't want to do. I didn't feel good when I exercised, and I knew that I had such a long, time before I would ever feel not bad exercising, and it turned me off completely. So if you were to tell me weight loss is equal to exercise, I wasn't going to listen, and I was going to be done. And I think that was a mistake. Not that exercise is important in weight loss, because it's a very small part. What you eat is more important, and how often you eat is more important than how often you work out. But with that said, when you get in the groove of working out, you begin to feel better. And that's something that I didn't know in the beginning. I felt like I was never going to get there. I felt like the feeling better part, I knew it was there, but I felt like I would never get there. And I was so wrong. And I was so wrong in the fact that the mental health part of this, feeling like inside of your head you're strong, feeling inside of your head that you can persevere, is so important in life, but it's just exponentially important in this thing that we call a weight loss journey. So if I would have started slowly, 9 months earlier when I got off the crutches and they had me in rehab and I was doing some exercising then because I was, obviously doing rehab. If I would have left rehab and walked for 15 minutes and then just slowly but surely added time to that, I think I could have lost more weight faster than I did, but I also think I would have gotten to a better mental state quicker. And I think that's powerful. I will say, though, that if you feel like the exercising is going to make you quit, it's probably not a good idea to get into it or start super, super duper slow and just do a little bit at a time until you build up some momentum. And that's the next point that I want to make. I wish I understood the momentum of changing your life. I wish going back into the beginning of this that I understood that the weight loss is going to bleed into all aspects, that who you are today at the beginning of your journey is not who you are going to be at the end of this journey, and that you're going to have some changes, and that's not always the easiest thing to deal with. Whenever you're talking about your own life and you're talking about, who you are fundamentally in your core, that doesn't shift very many times in your life. In a lot of ways, you're still the same person you were when you were a little guy or a little girl, right? It just doesn't fundamentally shift too many times, but it does shift throughout your life at different points. And this is one of those points. So I wish going into it that I understood that some of the things that I didn't like about myself, I was going to be able to shift, but it was going to create new issues and problems that you're going to have to deal with. And if you think that weight loss is going to cure, your personal life problems, you're probably wrong. You have to look within yourself and cure those problems. And the weight loss is going to assist and make things better, but it's not the answer to everything. Another thing that I wish I would have done in this weight loss journey was document it more. I am so grateful that I have the video where I've sat down. If you haven't seen it on my channels, I'll put it in a card right here, where I sit down and I talk to the YouTube, for the first time. And I didn't post it for almost a year till after I recorded the video, but when I was overweight, so that I could see that video and then see where I am today and understand how far I came. But I wish I had documented it along the way. I've seen, other YouTubers do that, and it definitely makes me a little bit jealous. I can give you an example of one right off the top of my head, and that is OMAD Caroline. And OMAD Caroline, you can watch her journey from day one to now. And it just blows your mind how far she's come, and you can see it along the way in the different stages. And you can also go back and kind of get her mindset at the different points. And I wish I would have started my YouTube channel at the beginning of my journey, not after I had lost the 100 pounds. I was really subconscious about sitting in front of a camera as an overweight person and talk to people about losing weight. I was really self-conscious about how people were going to judge me, and people were going to look at me and say, oh, well, who's this fat guy on YouTube? He's a joke. Why would we want to watch this idiot talk? And I felt like I wasn't providing anything to the public that they'd want to see. But through the success of some other people, I realized that coming along my whole journey would have been powerful for people to see, and it would have been something that inspired a lot of people along the way. Now, I still feel like I'm making an impact, and I still feel like I'm helping the community, and I am grateful that I have that one video, but it would have been nice to have documented the whole thing. Now, if you're watching along and you say, I don't want to be on YouTube, just taking weekly pictures will document your journey, and it's something that I didn't do and I regret. And I think that that is something you can look at and say, this is something that I have done, and see it in your face. Now, I want to say that I did do it on my Fitness Pal. I have all of my weigh-ins every Monday, but I can look over that and I can see where I had success, but I don't have a visual, and having a visual is really powerful part that I kind of wish I would have documented along the way. The last thing that I would want to change in this whole situation is something that I think that I still deal with to this day. And this is rewarding myself with food. And, I wish that early on I just eliminated that from my brain. And I think it's a struggle that I still kind of have right now. And I think it's a struggle that all people that are overweight kind of have too, but people in general, we reward ourselves with food. And we go to, whatever event or whatever's happening, and we've done something well in our life, whether we're promoted or whatever the case is, right? And we go to food as a reward. And I did it even through my weight loss journey. If I had a really good week on the scale, I would make sure I put in this nice dessert with my meal that day. And I tied dessert, or I tied, what some people would look at as cheating on a diet, right? I don't look at it that way, but I tied these sweet foods or these foods that I really enjoyed with successful things that I had done as a reward. And I think that at the end of the day, that's something that I don't want. I don't want to feel like I need a reward when I've done something well. I want to know that I've done something well and that be good enough for me, and not have to tie that to food, because I think that that is a slippery slope that we've all been down, in our past. And I don't want to go down that route in the future. So it's still something that I struggle with, because if I do have success, like, hey, I just walked 55,000 steps over the weekend, right? Well, you know what? I'm definitely going to get a pizza and I'm going to get some ice cream. And why? Why can't I just celebrate the fact that I've walked 50,000 steps? And that is a mindset that I'm working towards trying to fix still to this day. And I wish I waited to start that until I had already lost the weight. And I wish that I would have started that in the beginning and not rewarded myself along the way for the successes, whether they be weight loss, work related, relationship related, whatever the case is. I tie food to rewards, and I think that that's a mistake. And I hope that, one day I can even just move on and look past that and be able to do something and not even think about it. Because even when I resist the food, the thought is still there to say, okay, you did well, let's get something to eat. And that's not the way that I want to be. So I hope that you've related to some of this, and I hope that it's helped you in some way on your weight loss journey. And I'd appreciate it if you checked out this video that I think you'll like, or the one that YouTube thinks you'll like. It doesn't matter, either one. But if you, whatever you do, click on my face right there, man. It will subscribe to this channel and will allow me to reach you with new content and help you along the way. I appreciate you. Talk to you on the next one. Peace.